Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today on the Doctor's Spell Prognosis, we're talking about the spell Wall of Fire. We're giving this spell an A-, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. All right, Wall of Fire is a 4th level spell that is usable by druids, sorcerers, wizards, light domain and forge domain clerics, the fiend and the celestial warlock, and the artillerist artificer. So lots of different classes can use this spell. I really love this spell. This is another one of these kind of, I set it down, I do have to concentrate on it. Spells that you can take advantage of pushing and pulling things through the wall multiple times. All right, so it's 4th level spell. It takes 1 action to cast, has a range of 120 feet, which is a great range. Verbal, somatic, and material component. The material component is worthless. You don't have to worry about that. And it lasts for a minute, requires concentration. You absolutely want to concentrate on this spell. It is evocation, so it is a wizard-based spell. So keep in mind, if you're an evocation wizard, this is a good spell for you for a particular reason. So you create a wall of fire on a solid surface within range. You can't create it in the air. You can make the wall up to 20 feet long, or 60 feet long, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick, or a ringed wall up to 20 feet in diameter. That's actually not that big, okay? That's not 20-foot radius, that's 20-foot diameter. 20 feet high, 1 foot thick, so that's a 10-foot radius. That's not fantastic. That is enough to essentially encompass a huge creature. Just putting that out there. The wall is opaque and lasts for the duration. That's really important. Opaque means you cannot see through it, which means you cannot see creatures on the other side of it. So when the wall appears, each creature in its area must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 5d8 fire damage, or half as much on a successful one. So it's a dex save. It's not the worst. It's not the best, but it is there. Now, one of the reasons why I am not giving this a solid A is because it is opaque. That's one of the reasons, because that does limit the things you can do with it a bit. 5d8 damage is a really, really nice amount of damage. So if we bring out our handy dandy calculator, 5d8, so is a 4.5 times 8 is going to be about 36 points of damage. Compared to a fireball, 8 times 3.5 is 28. So it does more damage than a fireball. And this thing can do damage multiple times around. Not a turn, around. Okay. So on one side of the wall selected by you, when you cast a spell, deals 5d8 damage to each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of that side or inside the wall. The creature takes the same damage when it enters the wall for the first time on the end of its turn there. The other side of the wall deals no damage. So, when the wall appears, it makes a dex save. However, after that, doesn't look like there's a dex save. One side of the wall, selected by you when you cast a spell, deals fire damage to each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of that side or inside the wall. A creature takes the same damage when it enters the wall for the first time on its turn or ends its turn there. So that is an important. The other side of the wall deals no damage. So that second to last sentence is the important one. A creature takes the same damage when it enters the wall for the first time on a turn. Not its turn, a turn. And there are many turns in a round. And then you can upcast this spell for an extra d8 damage. So if a creature ends its movement, it ends its turn within 10 feet of the hot side of the wall, it's going to take 5d8 damage, no save. And or inside the wall. So if it ends its turn inside the wall, it's also going to take 5d8. It's going to take that 5d8 when it enters the wall for the first time on a turn or ends its turn there. I'm not sure why they keep saying ends its turn there, because they were pretty obvious in the first sentence. They kind of repeated themselves. So here's the deal. You cast it, you drop it. You drop it on a creature, they get a saving throw. And let's say they fail their saving throw, so they take 36 points of damage. And then they get to go, and they're moving. This forces them not to be near the wall, so they're going to move away from the wall. Your objective is to push them as close to the wall or in the wall as you possibly can as a group. So there's always the push action. There is many different ways of pushing or pulling. Now, pulling is a little bit different because you may not be able to see the creature because, remember, the wall is opaque. Now, the other reason why I gave this spell an A- is because it is a friendly fire spell. That is, unless you're an evocation wizard, the opponent creatures can push or pull your party members into the wall. So you need to sit down with your party. You need to discuss this spell. Hey, I've got Wall of Fire, and hey, it does this thing. Anytime something ends its turn or enters the wall for the first time, it's going to take damage. No save. It only gets a save the first time that it pops up. So if we can all figure out how to move this thing in and out of the wall and basically just play Pong with it through the wall, it's going to take a ton of damage. Now, it's fire as well. That's another reason why I gave it an A-, because there's a lot of creatures that are immune to fire. So if you're fighting a devil, not going to do anything. All right. So let's look at some of this stuff. Good class to use with this, of course, is Evocation Wizard with the Sculpt spell, because you can choose a number of creatures from an invocation spell equal to 1 plus the spell's level. So that's 5 creatures. And they automatically succeed on their saving throw, and they take no damage. Now, however, that only works against the first, this particular time, when the wall appears. That's it. For the rest of the time, they're going to take damage unless they're immune to fire. Good Artifice. Let's look at that Artillerist Artificer. And we've got that Force Ballista, which pushes 5 feet away from the cannon. That is a great use of that. We've got a couple of Warlock options here, the Celestial and the Fiend Warlock. They have access to Repelling Blast. Every time you hit with a Repelling Blast, you're going to push 10 feet. And by about this level right here where things are casting that spell, you're going to have 2 of those, so you can push them 20 feet and around. Fighters have a number of options of pushing. Push is probably the best thing that you could do, because pulling it through is not going to be easy to do, because most of those things require line of sight. Thunder Wave is another great spell that can do this. Another great spell that can do these types of things, and we've gone over this spell before, and this takes some time because the WotC servers are not fast, but the spell I'm talking about is Vortex Warp. Another great kind of broken spell where you can teleport something. You can't teleport them into the wall because you have to be able to see into the wall, but you can teleport them right next to the wall, and then somebody else could push them in. Okay? And it has to end its turn. But this one enters the wall for the first time on a turn. There's a big difference between its turn and a turn. So just keep all that in mind. Think along those lines. Get creative, and you can do tons of damage with this spell. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.